won yesterday and knocked out Trap down to the elimination match. We will get a rematch of this. It looks like we're ready to begin. There was a 2-1 yesterday for HeroMarine. Lots of aggressive builds showing up when Trap wasn't quite ready. And honestly, a few too many mistakes from Trap, if I'm being honest. He showed up and could have done a hell of a lot better than he did a lot of the time, I think. So, yeah, especially some of his Oracle opening. His Oracles were just flying into units, not attacking the right things. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. So yeah, HeroMarine top right and Trap bottom left as we get started in this best of 3. Let's see who will go to the playoffs. The winner of this will play against Cyril in the playoffs. That's what the Liquipedia bracket tells us at least, so we have no reason to believe otherwise for the moment. HeroMarine versus Trap. Let's see what happens. I do just feel like Trap has been a little bit more... a little shakier than I thought he would be. I really thought Trap would be a little bit more well-rounded so far in this event. Has just been a little bit of a... he's just had some shaky times, right? Some shakier moments and times at which he's not looked as good as he maybe should have been, so... yeah, here comes this SCV nibbling up on that probe. As our Cyber Core is coming through. That's just going to drop down the front here. Orbital Command and the Marine coming up as well. And our couple of SCVs chasing this probe. Obviously wants to make sure you can expand on the low ground without issue. The more SCVs you have nibbling that probe, the better to push it back in time. Of course, you can't just pull 10 SCVs because then you lose all your income, but typically one SCV that was built in the racks and an SCV pulled from the mineral line, that's the combination you want just to make sure that probe gets pushed away. What servers do they play on? Yeah, probably NA West / Central. They probably rotate between the two. I'm not sure what exactly the server rules are for this event, but there's no way they're not playing on North American server. So, thing is, within reach of being even for each player. Maybe a 30 difference, one game for Trap, 30, 40 difference the next game for HeroMarine. Something along those lines as we do have our command sender down on the natural expansion. And, yeah, I mean, Trap is going to go straight into a Twilight Council here. It's just going to go straight toward our Blink opener, most likely. Let's see exactly what he wants to do. He is bringing this probe around. He's kept that on the map. Is he maybe going to proxy something up over here? Or is he just looking to try and get in for another scout? I mean, kind of a weird time to try and scout, right? But, yeah, let's see. It is just going to be Blink for the moment from Trap, so we do see him just starting up in the very regular way. Blink before we see any sort of robo as well, so it doesn't seem as though this should be too aggressive. And Trap, you'd imagine from here, a lot of the time will start to head toward that 4-minute third base, which is also common in the matchup nowadays. I imagine that's what we're kind of heading towards here in the near future, is we're just going to be seeing our Blinks dying. Our robo facility is building after one gateway was added, so 2 gates. Oh, he's actually going to add one more, so 3 gates in total now. 4 gates in total now, so this is actually going to be a little bit aggressive from Trap. It is going to be 4-gate Blink. He is going to bring the pressure in this. Man, the series that we saw yesterday between HeroMarine and MaxPax, HeroMarine made 4-gate Blink look terrible. And considering it's been such a standard build, that's kind of impressive. So I'm intrigued to see how HeroMarine is able to respond here. He is on a high Rax count, right? He's already pumping out 4 Marines at a time, so his Rax count pretty high to start off with. This is going to be a bio-focused defense. There's not going to be any factory units tuning in to take part in this. This is just going to be a question of, can these bio units push back those stalkers effectively? Let's see if he can. So Marines join up, a couple of SCVs in the gas. Mining that +1 coming through. Again, the whole idea of this is to get all of those upgrades to sync up together. And then you become very powerful as the Adept actually sees these units moving through. Now the Prism gonna peel off to the side. Trap has got a few Stalkers here, but only a couple. Not really many that can do much with this, as he's trying to make sure that he's trying to stay out of the view of HeroMarine. The Adept is seen. And he's just going to lift up a few units and take them toward the main base. Just going to bring those through right now. So 4 Stalkers, and he does have units then still at home to defend as well, as he gets, I believe, actually just 1 SCV before he gets pushed away. So actually not that successful here. As now we're going to see HeroMarine going to start and stem up this ramp. There's an Immortal here to try and help out. The battery just not ready yet. He kills the first pylon. Second pylon goes down just as Trap overcharges. But another pylon on the right side repowers. And that is going to be the defense needed from Trap. So he is going to get the defense pulled off. But now he moves commands forward a little bit. And he loses a Stalker right away. And once again, that just became then a little bit messier than it really needed to be. Damn. Rest of the bio units coming through. As the Stalkers will blink. Marine Marauder taking a little bit more damage. Now we're going to see the few Stalkers there just going to lift up into the Warp Prism. So, doing a decent job with that. As we do have HeroMarine just going to bring everything back around. Up into the main of the natural expansion. Starport's about to finish up. The Robo-Bay and the Forge coming through from Trap as well. Nexus is just coming down the third base. Of course, third base very late here. The Robo-Bay not actually that badly timed. He added that on pretty quick. Of course, he never really committed to this 4-gate attack. He kind of just played this defensively with a bit of light harassment. Obviously, then the real deficit on this is just going to be coming back from this, right? I mean, coming back and kind of going in toward now the third base and so on, not just being late. He's actually going to get aggressive now with this couple of Immortals. Can he make something happen here, guys? What do you think? A couple of Immortals. He's got force fields available. These units have all stimmed once already, so they're already lower HP. Trap isn't too sure about continuing to push forward, and I don't blame him. It's a tricky little position to be in for sure. I don't blame him for being a little bit slower to try and get something done there. So he is just going to hold HeroMarine into the 2 bases. Now, at some point, does HeroMarine try and drop around this? Trap is actually just going to back away now, so he leaves a few Stalkers at the front. As he leaves a few Stalkers at the front, he was just kind of watching for HeroMarine making a move across, but he's actually just now going to send everything home bar the Warp Prism, which will once again swing around the right-hand side, looking for the opportunity to counterattack in, looking for the chance to get rid of a few more SCVs. As it moves out from the main, we do see the Bioforce of HeroMarine heading down to the bottom side of the map, so away we go out down to the south. I'm just going to go for a push. And that's Trap. And that's got a Colossus up and running. I don't think HeroMarine has a lot of splash damage to add into this. These SCVs run into Zeltha, immediately waiting to counterattack, so they have to turn around right away. And even some more still trying to transferring over. So nice damage at the moment for Trap. He actually only gets 3 in the end, though. Thought he might have got those extra ones and gone up to 6 or so. Not the case, however. Not the case at all. Couple of tanks going to be settling down. I mean, obviously defense is now rising. I was talking about the lack of a splash damage for the push. Now we're going to need some splash damage for the defense, because Trap's moving up that right-hand side himself, kind of thinking about getting the chance to maybe attack on in. Isn't going to fill any of those, now just backs up a little bit. Trap being pretty patient. He actually starts a 4th Colossus, which I find interesting, as we go for another Robo facility. He will move into the disruptor production behind this, of course, and aid himself with a second round of splash damage that really does fill just a very different role to the Colossi. Colossi are there for permanent splash damage out in the army. The disruptors really do force the Terran player to split, pull back, miss chances to deal damage, and all of that kind of stuff. So, a couple of things to think about there. Still see this army of Trap moving over to the side at the moment, and this Bioforce of HeroMarine settling down. We're going to start moving forward with this. Bio Army, Vikings all coming down to the bottom side of the map here, so on a push we go, and this HeroMarine makes his way across the map. Tank's going to siege up. These couple of Zelds get taken down, and just going to be seeing HeroMarine He's got good army supply. I mean, his army supply, he's basically maxed. I just wonder about how much tech the Trap has. Nice catch from the Vikings to get rid of the Observer. Going to make it a little more difficult to engage in. Now, Scan obviously sees that Disruptor moving that way as well, so that's not going to catch HeroMarine off guard. Trap pulled it back, though. Now he's actually going to take a fight. These tanks, well, some of them aren't sieged. I'm just worried about the fact that there is so much Terran here. The Disruptor does get dead center, but HeroMarine's army is truly massive. And that stays true at the end of this fight as well. Trap falls back to a super battery as we both go into rebuilding. More Disruptors on the way up. One issue for HeroMarine is that his second engineering bay and an armory isn't done yet, so he's going to be late onto his next set of upgrades. So not going to maintain the upgrade lead he currently has as nicely as he maybe could have done. But part of that is that he put so much into kind of committing to this attack, right? And really powering up for this one big push to be successful. As Trap moves along, defends his fourth base quite handily as well. Pushes that back without many issues. And HeroMarine doesn't have anything moving to the right side at the same time. So, for the moment, the attacks of HeroMarine will just have to settle down. Disruptor and the Prism on the way up. Marine's going to unload on the bottom right-hand side, so HeroMarine can maybe try and do something with those. Maybe try and bring those to the equation. Trap gets his fourth base up and running. He's going to start getting that stack defense set up around there. What was it called? I mean, his army does look terrifying. Like, there's so much tech in this Trap army as this drop comes in. A few Stalkers will be sent to deal with it, but battery's out of energy, so probes start to drop pretty fast. It's actually 9-10 workers going down. I was just about to say, work count for Trap has not exactly been ideal this game, and now dropping down 10 workers. He's never really been ahead on that worker count, which you'd usually expect to see from a Protoss player if they want to stay competitive against mules, so yeah, that's kind of intriguing as well. Prism set up to come back around the left-hand side as HeroMarine will be the first to max out. I don't think that's too surprising. And we'll see. This Terran army is building a bit faster than the Protoss, and again, Trap just has so much tech in his army that it would be kind of crazy if he was to max out first with all that tech. That would just mean he's winning the game at the moment, but it's still very much so within the balance. I mean, it comes down to these next upcoming fights, because at the end of the day, neither player has a massive advantage right now, so whoever can take these next fights properly is likely to do very well. This Prism, with the Prism speed, is going to get all the way to the main. Oh, pushing at the front at the same time. Massive Disruptor shots to start. HeroMarine's supply melted. Stalkers and Archons, though, not getting a chance to get rid of these Vikings, so the Colossi are being chased off. Wow, that felt like an amazing start from Trap, but actually his own supply did take a bit of a hit. He does keep the Prism alive, and now he will begin to unload to actually do some damage with this Prism. Tries to pull it away. The Viking not giving chase. Maybe Trap can get it out of there. Nope, HeroMarine realizes he will go and put his Viking on that Prism, and that will go down. No attempt of a recall or anything from Trap. That means he is going to lose his, presence on the map in terms of being able to counterattack. So, losing out on that opportunity for the moment. Bunker off to the right as well. HeroMarine settling down these four bases. Disruptor shot not going to hit. Another Disruptor shot going to land short. HeroMarine now going to loop around to the right side, maybe wanting to make a push and a play down to that bottom side base. That 6 o'clock base is a bit exposed. Stalkers come in, they get a shot or two off on a Viking, but again, nothing major. But the main thing is that Trap's army kind of got around to the top, so now these two are kind of apart from each other. That's a lot of force fields to keep away what was a very low amount of units initially, but this is why, because he knows he's going to get caught coming with HeroMarine's army coming from the bottom side. Disruptor's starting to flank now, but they can't really protect themselves, so HeroMarine's going to collapse in on them. He needs to send a bunch of Disruptor shots forward. He needs to connect with some, and they will start to come through. HeroMarine types out GG as the fight happens. Disruptor shots connected. DT started to arrive, and the army of Trap started to come in from the left. Trap ends up taking the first game. GG. I've just summoned it. is going to be Lightshade. Trap going up 1-0. Looking to get himself into the playoffs where he would be playing against Cyril, of course. Let's see what he can do on Lightshade. It's definitely not been an easy run so far for yeah. It's definitely not been an easy run so far from Trap. He's definitely struggled through these games more than a lot of other people have been. HeroMarine will be spawning top left, while Trap will be spawning bottom right for this game number 2. Well, this best of 3 series, lose this game, and you are out of the tournament as HeroMarine. So this is a must-win map for HeroMarine now. I was gonna see our probe moving through and is coming up to the top side, so already gonna have a bit of a peek around to see what's going on. Getting chased around by that SCV. Honestly, just a bit of scouting here early. Lightshade, a bit of a smaller map to move across, so definitely could see HeroMarine being a little bit more aggressive early in the game. We know that's something which he loves to do. Definitely a lot of possibilities in that regard as to how this game could look very different to the last game. Oh, seems like the clean feed had a malfunction there for a moment, but didn't last long enough for us to really be affected. Just the sounds went weird momentarily. OSC next. Yes, I'll be doing OSC mid-season playoffs after this for a couple of hours. Just going to be seeing our Twilight Council on the way up then from Trap, so just getting that underway. So going to stick to the Twilight. If I didn't really like the Stargate play from yesterday. I think HeroMarine really does like just being aggressive, and a lot of the time it can be difficult to deal with that aggression with the Stargate, like, especially HeroMarine's aggression, because a lot of the time the Stargate is like the king of defense against aggressive plays. That's usually like early game, right? Phoenix are so good at shutting down early game. Hellion drops, that kind of stuff, Widowmine drops. And while HeroMarine does mix those in, I don't think that's where Trap has a problem. I think Trap maybe has a problem, if anywhere, when HeroMarine starts getting to the point where he has a large army pushing at your front door, and you gotta immediately right then and there do something about it. Dark Shrine will begin from Trap. So he's actually gonna go for a bit of a different opening then. Let's see what happens here now. HeroMarine is going to go Hellion Medevac, so it looks as though we will get some drop play. Let's see how well prepared he'll be against those DTs. Obviously no Raven just yet, so that'll make this a little bit tougher to defend against if you don't have the Raven. This will be obviously scan dependent on the defense, so then you've got to be really on point. Make sure you don't use those scans too early or anything along those lines. Got to be just a little bit cautious about it. Depth's moving down the bottom right side. Meanwhile, the War Prism is still coming to the top. It's going to aim for the main base. And these DTs could actually just warp directly into the main, by the way, which is going to mean that these are going to strike really quickly. Now, the Hellions are going to counterattack. Uh-oh, well, this is actually going to get really interesting really quickly, isn't it? Here we go. The DT is going to start swiping. There really just isn't any defense at home yet from HeroMarine. Scans are available, but needs obviously get units to clean up the DTs with the scans. Hellion drop is happening. Starts in the main base, goes to the natural. That's where there's going to be no units to defend. Prism lifts up, meanwhile, 3 probes to 9 SCVs. So far, a success story here for Trap. As they're going to drop back down, the DTs fight through the scan. Actually does now lose 1 DT. It's now 15 SCVs killed. So for 6 more workers, I think Trap's probably okay with it. He gets out, and actually, did he lose a DT, or did the DT just live back into the prism? Might have even just stayed alive there, and I thought it would have died, so that might have been my bad call. That's really bad for HeroMarine. He does still have the medevac and Hellions, I believe, so that is a chance for him to do some damage still. But he really needs to do something. The problem is now, the Hellion drop usually works because it hits at a time where the Protoss can't defend everywhere in their base. At this time in the game, the Protoss player can defend a few more places in their bases. You can see the Archons is going to come in for the fight here initially, just going to go and trade out with whatever units you can. It's basically a free trade because you're trading shields for units, so... this is, again, just Trap. Everything going right for him. The DT's definitely got a lot done to begin with. At least he still, like I say, has the Hellions up, so it keeps Trap a little bit afraid of bringing the rest of his army on the map. Look at the work count, though, guys. 26 SCVs, and now losing more in the natural. 23 SCVs to 54 probes. I mean... like, I want to be Mr. Positive, but there isn't much positivity left in me for the Terran watching this one. Unfortunately, HeroMarine is kind of getting battered and bruised, and he just isn't getting a chance to heal up from any of these bruises before the next kind of round of punches comes, you know, swirling his way. Yeah, this is, not looking good, guys, as the Depths and Stalkers are going to come in. They're going to go clean out these rocks. Mortal as well, and I mean, this is the big push from HeroMarine. Now, army supplies are kind of similarly going in. Trap feels like he isn't prepared to fight right away. He's actually trying to avoid, especially as those auto turrets come down, but now he's going to lose his wall off. I think he didn't think he had, because the battery wasn't ready or so, maybe. Anyways, he just really did not want to fight this. At least now the auto turrets have gone down. Super battery to try and save the Robo. Trap's going to try and flank in from the top side to try and clean this up. Let's see how well that goes. As the Archon's in a bit of trouble here. Here we go. Obviously jumps on the tanks pretty much right away. HeroMarine taps out GG. He knows that this one is over. He does just not have enough left. He had to win the game with this push with the damage he took earlier. And my friends, he did not win the game with that push. GG's, and HeroMarine is going to find himself out of the tournament. Trap gets revenge for yesterday. And with a 2-0, is going to advance to play Serral.